Welcome back to Factorio MSX Gigabase, which is our Marathon Tech Price SpaceX Extreme. We are ramping up our science to 12,000 per minute for doing the SpaceX part of the, the science part of SpaceX. So since last time, I basically finished filling out all of these extra labs, taking us up to 512 labs. I noticed that I actually off-centered this slightly, so we're going to have to detour up here slightly. I'm not going to rip it all out and place it all down. I mean, it wouldn't take that long, but I'm not quite that OCD. This one will probably, well, even this one might have to veer off just to get a decent run in there. So it's not really that big a deal. It just won't look quite as symmetrical from a highly zoomed out look as perhaps it might, but never mind. Now, very shortly after the last episode, the outpost here received its full supply. It's waiting on nothing right now, which is very good. Once it gets cracking, it is very efficient. So, I am over now by the sciences, because what we'll do is we will get the green and red up to their 12,000 per minute. They're the only two that we actually need to boost, given that everything else is, well, I mean, let's just quickly look at it again. All of the sciences sort of have this pattern, which is 2 minutes, but red and green for 2, and the other ones are just 1. So 6,000 per minute works as 12,000 over the 2 minutes, but here we need 24,000 over the 2 minutes. So hence what we are doing. Right, so we have a pattern for green science, and it should fit perfectly here. Why is there an issue? That's odd. There seems to be an issue through here. I must have changed something, so all of these power things seem to be in the wrong spot. Alright, if that is the case, then let us get rid of all the power things and see if that fixes the issue, because we can always relay them, of course. So obviously we're still doing worker robot cargo size 12, given that it's 1.5 million research, and I mean, sure, it's 30 seconds, but you know, as I've mentioned before, we don't really benefit from the fact that it is 30 second, because we're already producing at our capacity. That's fine, except for this radar down there. So let's just move the radar out as well. I must have had to adapt the design at some point. No, there's another radar up there. It's easier to lay this when everything is clear. I don't have any publishers or subscribers, which is good. Actually, speaking of the subscribers, at the moment it is a separate entity to enable train stations to become subscriber stations. I am thinking that it's actually going to work better if I make it a like a special type of train station. Not so much the publishers, because that's a one-on-one with an activation thing next to it. It's fine the way it is, but the subscribers would actually work a little bit better. That's funny. Okay, green science load. Yeah, then you're not going to load very effectively up there, mate. You're really not. Not just yet, anyway. But... oh yeah, we need lots of beacons now as well, don't we? Maybe I should sort this one out, and then the other one, so let's get sort of 400 beacons. And I'll finish sorting this up altogether, and then we'll get red science sorted. I'll probably need additional trains for the red and green science, which might mean that I will need you know, more platforms for them as well. But if all of these are chain signals the whole way, we might be able to get away with not giving them more platforms. Let's get across here where it's a bit safer. Fuel stops really visited. So yeah, one of the other things that we have to do at some point, and it will be done probably while we are doing SpaceX research, is when we are getting fuel, we need to start using the nuclear fuel. Alright, that's fine. Just the extra acceleration will help, and saving on rocket fuel. Only uses 10%. Well, it's 10% actually isn't quite true, because you have less energy with one nuclear fuel than you have with 10 rocket fuel, but it's something of that order. Trains will need to refuel slightly more often, which that's possibly an issue. Oh, and I think I've actually got a slight error in my yellow science, in that I actually think I have too many copper cable machines relative to what I actually need. So I might revisit that as well. The reason that's sort of come about is I actually only had one inserter, one stack inserter for the unload, and it actually needs two. Let's just, while it does that, I'll quickly show you. So here, we only had one of these, but this will actually do 44 copper cable per second, and one of these can only unload about 27, so two are required. But you'll notice that they're not running constantly because I have too many of them, and that's just silly. So we will have to rip some out. I think it's actually quite a lot too many. I think I've got like 30 of them, and I only need 12. So yeah, we'll look into that, but it's not the first priority. It's what happens when you do too much math in your head during shows, episodes. It's very easy to make some silly mistakes. I think I did a lot of that offline beforehand, so I just made some calculation errors. Too many calculations for a game sometimes. We're out of beacons already. Good grief. Okay, so this time I should probably look into getting this stuff built out. We need some arithmetic. Actually, while we're here, I'm not going to need a K of that. let's just cut that back. Something like that might work a bit better. We are going to need our red circuits so that we can build the publishers, get these machines supplied so that they can start producing. Otherwise our science is going to start dropping because of trains being diverted up there and not getting filled. May already have happened actually. Yep, it's already happened. But I mean, again, because this is 30-second science, it does strange things. We can have it running at 12,000 if all of the science labs were filled for a while, and then drop down to nothing, and would still end up with the average of 6,000 because actually it shouldn't be. That's not the cause of why it's where it's at. But yeah, it will drain the supply faster than we can top them up, so it's going to jump up and down quite a lot. And as I showed last episode, well, I can show it again, I suppose. We look over an hour, we probably have... no, it's actually tailed off. 4.9. Well, maybe I did need that extra steel. Never mind. I can look into that while we do SpaceX science. So, red circuits. Is that enough to build these? No, we're missing lamps. Alright. Pretty sure we have lamps in here. We do. Good, good. That should be fine then. Oops, let's run back a little bit more speedily. Along our path. I wonder if we forced a delivery of circuits, no, of speed modules, and no is the answer, because that would have explained it as well. If we had to divert a whole lot of the circuit stuff to make speed module 3s instead. But it wasn't really quite that. So, what are you called? You're not called what I want you to be called. This will be Green Science #2. And what's that one? And Green Science 2 for the iron. Green Science load is fine. Oh, that one is probably supposed to be down here, but never mind. Okay, so we need, I think it's 4, well, here there's 2 publishers and 2 train counters. We need the train counters first. What? It doesn't look quite like what I want it to say. Why processing units? We don't order processing units up there. No. I must have used a model from Yellow. Right, that's better. and this is all over the place, so that's terrible, so we need to try and fix it. Do I even need this one anymore? Probably not. So, yep, that's what we want. Now, that comes to here to the train, read train contents, good. No red wires, of course not. Alright, let's go back, get some red wire. Red and green wire. Probably only need red, but let's get red and green just in case, because you know that the first thing we'll find out if we just get one wire is that we need both wires, so we'll have to do it again. Of course. I guess at least we're not too far away to get back to our supplies. And running along at sort of mid-30s is so much nicer than high 20s. Just so much nicer. There we go. Anything else that we're getting low on while we're here? We don't have a lot of those, and just in case I want some of those, that should do. Now the thing with SpaceX science is there's only a little bit of it. Oh, I mean the very last faster than light drive science, of course, uses, well, everything except military. But the thing is, the number that actually use space science and so require launches to happen at the same time is a relatively small amount. So that right, here we go. So all the cost of launches can actually be saved for a significant period of time. That's good. Right, now you can go from there to there, which gives us a P1. Got no trains on the way, and we can create a train publisher. Hopefully it'll choose to go here. Of course it goes down there. We can create another train publisher that hopefully chooses to go here. It does. Trains less than P. P, what? Divided by minus 32,000. So I've got a -1. 2 plus, because we need more iron, so it's actually become +1. And then, yes, that is more than 1. Okay. Where am I getting my iron from? I'm going to assume it's iron 1, but let's just check. No, it's iron 5. Just as well we checked then. Alright, let's order from iron 5. Iron 5. I guess that bit of functionality just there of the whole priority thing is one of the key differentiators between my mod and LTN. LTN doesn't let you prioritize source, it just does it all for you in a big black box, so to speak. Divided by -32, so that's +1. No trains on the way. I'm guessing green circuit is just the standard green. Or we may have actually used the other source. Green circuit here. Oops, this is the one I wanted to look at. G, yes, we're using G. So G probably makes the most sense for this one as well. G. Got a train on the way. We've got a train on the way up there. Shortly this whole green circuit thing will be working. Okay, that's green circuits. Now, red circuits. Green circuits is fully plugged in. Red circuits, this part is not plugged in. And we need to change the names of those stations, so... Oh, and we need to lay it down, of course, as well. We again seem to have that issue with the placement of these substations. So, let's just do that. And place this down. Double up our red science. Our red science is incredibly cheap, really, so having to double that up doesn't really make that much difference to the whole process. Oh, of course, I went back to legs rather than charging, and we are out of beacons, so we better address that pretty quickly. Back to say 400, 800 of those. And yeah, back to legs again. I'll have to see what's going on with science soon. So I do want this to finish up so that we can start our SpaceX science. So having it not consistently hitting the target it needs to is not where I want it to be, obviously. I'll have to do. Not sure if that's enough beacons or not, but we'll see once it's all in place. Green science, one set of red science, and the other one. Right. Perfect. Perfectly planned. Rightio. We definitely do not need that, which means we probably don't really need that. We need to change these names. Start with this one, I guess. except this needs to be 2 to differentiate it when it calls a train. And this one needs to be 2 as well. 2. Right, now they've got the correct names, let's create 2 train counters and 2 train publishers. And this one, it needs to get the iron from iron 5, and this one needs to get, wait on, what is this actually after? Copper. Alright, where does this one get its copper from? 4. Fair enough, that makes sense. So you can get your copper from stack 4. There we go. Red enabled, I think. Let me just put in a couple more chain signals if I have any. I do not. Oh, yes, I do. There they are. There we go. So, the red and green science should now... No, they shouldn't. They need some bots. We can probably rob some bots now that we've used this thing. We can probably rob some bots from down here. 1,000. No way we need 1,000 here. I just need to find 332 and that lot. A few more perhaps. Now we're down to, oh, I probably took slightly too many that time. That should sort out green. An initial rush, but then it will settle down. And red circuits, how many bots do we have up here? 800. So if I take away about 400, it's got 167. We're at 500, so I want another 100 or so. There we go. Highly mathematical, that. Right, you can go in there. As can you. And why do you need 3 trains? This doesn't look like it's working properly. Let's pick you up. Oh well. We're going to be over flooded with iron here for a little while. What about down here? What? P1. Oh, you got no copper. 1 plus. 1 train on the way. No trains in storage. Okay. So, what's our production of... Well, green is up to 11k. Red is nowhere near it because it's waiting on that delivery of copper. Purple's doing fine. Yellow's more or less doing fine. sciences overall have completely stopped for some reason. You are missing purple, you are missing purple, you are missing purple, and you're missing purple. Okay. Purple science, what's going on here? You're just doing the best you can. And ordering in more furnaces, because you're about to run out. And the furnaces are out of steel, which could be slowing down their supply. So yeah, it does look like I absolutely do need to boost this. Oh, and this could be part of our problem. Why do we have a deadlock here? You're going around the corner. You are trying to go straight through. Okay. And that's stopping this one getting out, which is stopping this one. Oh, they're just going. This one's trying to turn in, so that's blocked that lane. This is what happens every time you muck with the rail network, so you kind of need to get it sorted. Okay, so instead of sorting out this connection and this connection, which we're not really ready for anyway, what's that flashing about? Oh, it's missing a couple of stack inserters. Let's sort out that bit first. It looks like we're going to have a little bit of train deadlocking to sort out. I actually had a little bit of that between episodes, but it looks like there's a little bit more. So what I might do is cut, and I'll get into position, and then we can see about sorting that out for the end of the episode. But that's probably what was causing us our grief. This means there's far too many of these things, doesn't it? You can go away as well. Oh, and there's probably a little bit on the other side. Probably what was causing us our grief in terms of our science numbers. It's probably been sitting there for a little while. It doesn't take much. I'm not going to need all of those. It's not in a very good position anymore. Scary. Alright. That should be fine. So yeah, what I'll do is I'll break, and when we're in a position to try and resolve this deadlock, I'll restart. See you soon. And back. So this hasn't even moved in the time I've got here, and I'll show you what I had to do. So I directed my engineering train to go to Oil Northeast 1. And it has parked up somewhere along, there you go, that's it right there, way back there, and I had to hoof it along to here. So what can we do? Well, for one thing, we have a chain signal way up there. We don't need that one, we don't need this one. What does that do for us? That will move up to here, and that should allow this one, or could allow this one to move up a little bit. I don't know if it's going to be enough to help, but if we placed a normal signal there, did that move out? It did actually move out enough to allow that one in. That's something. Wow, that actually looks like it might be enough to sort this out. Believe it or not. Let's just let's just wait and see. These guys could probably, yeah, that doesn't need to be a chain signal. They could actually come up a little bit closer. I don't know how much that will help or hinder, but some steel coming through. Probably need that to have any chance of another launch taking place. So those guys can move up to here. Whether that actually helps anything back here, I'm not sure. Oh, maybe I took it off so that this wouldn't do that, but it's only for this one oil place, so it probably doesn't matter too much. When it gets jammed up, it certainly gets jammed up. I don't know how many trains I've got, because it doesn't tell you, but it's this many. There is actually a command you can run to tell you how many trains. I'll do that sometime soon. I'll just have to look it up. I don't have it to hand. I'm not going to try and work it out, especially in the middle of an episode. Is this getting any shorter? We'll see soon enough. These guys need to start moving. There's plenty of room for a few trains down here. At least we're getting like two around the corner at once. That certainly helps. That's just me. That's not my train. No, not that one. That one there, I think, yeah, that's the engineering train. Now this intersection clearly needs a radar, so let's run back to it and give it one, because I like to see what's going on the train network. You can't really fix things if you can't see what the problem is. So that certainly helps. This bit is not so critical. There's our train there. If we can play, what's that game called? I mean, it used to be called Frogger, didn't it? That's when I remember it, but there's a new version for the new age children. Let's jump on there. We can have a look at this on map view. It's definitely shortened there, so very small change in position of these signals here, and oh, that one there is actually a problem probably still. Okay, let's try and deal with it as well. You don't need two chain signals like that. Now, of course, my train has gone, so I'm going to have to do the long run over there, but I think that's resolved it. Science will take a little while to kick back into gear. These guys are running at 11k. Should be up to 12 that they can get to. We have absolutely no science. Why not? Probably purple again. Purple science has stalled because we are out of these things. These things are waiting on steel. Steel, there's some steel on the way somewhere. This really does need a revamp for more iron. There's no iron over here at all. Needs something. We're not getting what we should out of Big Bro Steel. But that's going to have to do it for this episode. Next episode I will probably enable all of the train publishers around here. Although that's not necessarily the most important thing. In fact, I might even draw these rail lines up to, but not connect. And I'd kind of like to see that get to the end, but I think I need to try and sort out Big Bro Steel's problems. So this one won't be doing anything because there can't be enough steel currently. There's only 28,000, but there's no iron coming in. There is an iron train on the way from somewhere. I might have to up the demand for iron trains. And yeah, it certainly would help if this was a little bit more efficient. So I think I do have to do the revamp to this, even though it blocks over this copper, but I don't think we're going to worry about it because we never built a copper stack in this side. But yeah, alright guys, we've had long enough. I'll see you in the next episode, where hopefully we'll be a lot closer to actually starting the SpaceX science. See you then guys, bye bye for now.